This micro tip will show you a secret and undocumented Excel function called DateDiff, and it's super useful. So I want to calculate the difference in dates for years, months, and days between a certain date. So here's my daughter's birthday here, and I want to calculate years since she's been born. So I will go here and type equals and then DateDiff, and you'll notice that is secret, nothing comes up. Hit the parentheses. First off, you're going to select the date you want to calculate. So there's the date from 2008, then comma, and now I'll put in today's date, and then comma, and then quote Y for years, and then parentheses, hit enter. It calculates 12 years. Let's try the same thing for months. I have the same formula. This time I'll do quote M and then quote for months, hit enter, 154 months, and same thing for days. But in this case, I put a D in for days. So now you know the secret. This micro tip will show you the trim formula in Excel. So I've got a bunch of names here and I want to remove the front spaces or the middle spaces or the trailing spaces. Well, I just type equals trim and parentheses, select the cell, close parentheses, hit enter, and it trims it right out. Now if I want to make it go down, double click the square, all done.
This micro tip is a great one for Excel. I use it all the time. Let's say I have a bunch of expenses here and I want to sum them up, and normally I have to go down here and I have to hit equals and sum, then I have to select the columns, and half the time I don't do it right. What if there was a way to do that easier? Well, there is. If I put my cell right here and I hit Alt and then equals, it automatically hits the sum and I hit enter, done. Super time saver.
This micro tip will show you upper, lower, and the proper case formulas in Excel. So I've got some names here I want to convert to uppercase. I'll do equals and upper, open parentheses, select the cell, close parentheses, hit enter, and it converts it to uppercase, double click the square, and I get all of them. To convert these names to lowercase, to equals and then lower, open parentheses, select the cell, close parentheses, hit enter, double click the square. To give proper case to a name, hit equals, type proper, open parentheses, select the cell, close parentheses, hit enter, and same thing, double click the square. This micro tip covers all the best Excel shortcuts. Tip number 1, to sum up a column, highlight the cell, do Alt equals enter, and you get the sum. Tip number 2, to insert a row, select the row where you want it, Control Shift plus, and right above it, it inserts a row. Tip number 3, to delete a row, select any row like this, Control minus. Tip number 4, to select a column, just click where you want this and do Control space, and it selects that whole column. Tip number 5, to select a row, click anywhere you want the row, do Shift space, and the row is selected. Tip number 6, to insert multiple lines in your formula bar, just type something, do Alt enter for the next line, Alt enter, and you can enter as many lines as you want. Tip number 7, I want to extract the first and last name from these fake email addresses. I'm going to type the first and last name, hit enter, then Control E for flash fill. Everything was just extracted instantly. Tip number 8, to switch spreadsheets with your keyboard, do Control page down to go to the next one and Control page down. Tip number 9, to go back the opposite direction, do Control page up, Control page up. Tip number 10, insert a note by doing Shift F2. Your Excel sheet is amazing. This micro tip will show you how to quickly zoom into a specific selection in Excel. So I've got a big old spreadsheet here, tiny font. I want to zoom in and just find this part right here. I go to the view menu and I choose zoom to selection. Blam, it zooms it right in so I can read those numbers with my tired old eyes. If I want to go back to 100%, I just click up here on 100% and I go back to normal. Hit the plus button for daily Microsoft tips. This micro tip will show you how to make cool diagonal borders in Excel. So I have a list of items here and I have a list of dates across the top here, and I want to make a little diagonal border. So I'll click here and now I'm going to type in date. Then I do Alt enter and I will type item. Now what I want to do is have date, hit the space bar, have it go across a little bit, and then we'll hit enter. Now we're going to format the cell. Control 1, click on the border tab, and there is an option here, diagonal. Click this, hit OK. Check that out. This micro tip will show you how to size your columns instantly in Excel. So I have a bunch of columns here, and instead of trying to size them all one at a time to get them accurate, just do Control A and then Alt H-O-I. Done. Follow for daily Microsoft tips. This micro tip will show you how to use the rank formula in Excel. So I've got a bunch of test scores here from the office employees on paper trivia. I want to rank them. So I'm going to hit equals rank, open parentheses, select the first score, then hit comma, then select all the scores in the range, and I'm going to hit F4 to add dollar signs to make that an absolute reference, and then close parentheses, and you get the ranking of Andy Bernard. Now click to drag down, and you'll see all the rankings. Dwight Schrute, number 1. Michael Scott, last place. This micro tip will show you how to set your default font in an Excel workbook. So I'm going to go to the File menu here, go all the way down to the bottom and click Options. And in general, just scroll down and you see when creating new workbooks, set the default font. So let's choose one. Nothing says professional spreadsheet like Comic Sans. Let's make it size 16. Hit OK. Then it says close and restart Excel. Let's do that. Back in Excel, look at that default Comic Sans. Let's type something in. Comic Sans is the best spreadsheet font. This micro tip will show you how to bulk delete blank rows in an Excel spreadsheet. So I've got a bunch of blank rows in my Excel data here, 100,000 names. First do Control G to bring up Go To, then click on Special. Now select blanks, hit OK. All the blank rows are selected. Then do Control minus to bring up the delete dialog, choose Shift Cells up, hit OK, all done. This micro tip will show you how to speed up boring data entry in Excel with flash fill. So I have some names here. I want to combine both of these columns into one cell. I'll type out Edward Springer one time, hit enter. Now go to the data tab here and go over and choose flash fill. It automatically fills all these with smarts. In this case, I just want to pull the first name out. I'll type Edward one time, hit enter. Now use the shortcut Control E. That is your best friend, Control E. Now another name, I can even do commas. So in this case, Springer, comma, Edward. Now in this case, I'm gonna drag down, push the mouse button down, drag, and they all look the same. But if I open up this here, choose flash fill. That's a third way you can do it. It works with addresses. I wanna extract the zip codes, type the first one, Control E, really fast. You can combine columns. Here's address example. I'll type in 1, hit enter, Control E, they all combine. It'll even clean spaces out of your data. So here's one, I type in Seattle, Control E, everything is cleaned out. Look at that. This micro tip will show you how to automatically size columns and rows in Excel. So I've got an Excel spreadsheet and I've got all these different rows and they're different sizes and the columns are different. I want to size it all at once automatically. Go here and click that little button to select everything. Now hover till you see the little splitter bar on a column, double click. And now hover till you see a splitter bar and double click. Look at that. Hit the plus button for daily Microsoft tips. This micro tip will show you how to use conditional formatting in Excel to make your data pop a little bit more visually. So I've selected a bunch of cells here for quantity. On the Home tab, I'm going to go to conditional formatting, choose color scales, and you can see different options. The first one is the red, yellow, green, where red is the lowest number and green is highest, and it automatically will color that for you. And there are some other options for colors as well. We even have a little bit of red, white, and blue if you want. Now the other one is data bars. This can show different gradient fills showing where 5 is the lowest and 186 is the highest, and there are some different colors. We even have the solid fills. And the final one you can play around with is icon sets. And this is kind of fun. I can go here and get a red and yellow and green circle for high, medium, low. There are arrows. There's also things with checks and exclamation points and a little red X. And there's even things at the bottom where you've got pie charts and stars and all sorts of things that you can play around with. This micro tip will show you a sneaky way to fill your series really fast for weekdays or months. So I want to fill out my weekdays here and just drag down, right click on that dot, drag down, then let go of your mouse, and now choose Fill Weekdays. It automatically fills just the weekdays. Same thing with months. Click here, right click, drag down, let go, and choose Fill Months, and you can see there's some other options too. This micro tip will show you how to use Excel VLOOKUP. I have my music store spreadsheet here, and I have these different inventory IDs that are linked to all these other items. I want to find the inventory ID number 8. I'm going to go to item here and hit equals and type VLOOKUP. Something that's important is that VLOOKUP only can look along the leftmost columns, and it says that right here in the tooltip. Now do open parentheses, and the lookup value I will click right here, and you can see that that is in this left-hand column. Then I hit comma, and it asks for the table array. That just means where am I going to be searching for in this table. So I'm selecting everything here, hit comma. Now column indexed, this is the key thing. I'm looking for item, and you can see item here is column number 2. So think column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So column number 2 is where it is. And then the last one, which is optional, but it's really important, type false, which means look for the exact match. So hit enter, and look, it pulls in an amp that goes to 11. Let's find designer based on inventory. Enter the same VLOOKUP equation, but this time you put the designer as column number 4. So it searches there and it pulls up Nigel Tufnell. This micro tip will show you how to do a quick find and replace in Excel. So I've got a spreadsheet here and there's a bunch of amp that goes to 10 and I need to change that to amp that goes to 11. So I will do Control H. This pulls up the find and replace dialog. Find what? Amp that goes to 10. I want to replace that with an amp that goes to 11 and I will just click replace all. All done. We've made 4 replacements. Close this and check it out. All my amps now go to 11. This micro tip will show you 3 useful Excel shortcuts. The first one is inserting the current date. If I hold down Control and semicolon, it just adds the current date. The next one is getting the current time. If I do Control Shift semicolon, there's the current time. Third tip, let's say I just want to view a formula of any cell. I just put my cursor on the cell and do Control apostrophe and it shows the formula. Same thing with the cell right above. I do here, Control apostrophe, and there's the formula. Hit the plus button to follow along for daily Microsoft tips.